Okay, everybody. I'd like to bring the county government meeting to order. First up today will be tourism.
I'll be quick. I have one resolution, allowing our department to award the bid for the 2024 publication of the Visitors Guide. Chronogram meeting once again. What's the lowest? Actually, they were the only bidder this year. But they've done the guide now for maybe 4 years. So I'm expecting it to be smooth sailing.
Did it just change the date?
No, this year I'm actually changing it up quite a bit. I have an early start, so it gives me more time to get it printed in time for spring travel shows.
I have a motion here.
I'll move it. Or
You have
second
one
it,
over-
whichever
I
you-
moved it already.
Every
Need a second.
meeting.
Need a second.
He just has such a.
I know.
silent
He
voice.
whispered it too.
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Well, we're off and
The
running.
moon is running, or the water is tide or something.
Planning?
Yeah, I have a second.
Boy, she got a bunch.
I have, some more appointments to, the EMC. There are two resolutions, for one for member for the village of Hilma and the other for the town of Austerlitz.
I'll move those two.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried.
Okay, and the, second group are appointments to the county planning board. The first for Region 4, which represents Greenport Select Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote carried.
Jumbles together, right, Jim? Okay, that's all I got.
That was it.
Wait a minute.
Wait, did you do income?
Here.
Did you want to?
She was doing
I
them,
didn't finish
she was
reading.
doing them both at the
Okay,
same
so
time.
this is-
And the
All right.
other one that was Austerlitz and Hillsdale, but she didn't get a chance to say.
Right.
All right, so we'll skip over real property for now, because Suzette's not here.
See who wants the meeting?
Right here. It's not me. There you go.
Sorry.
I've learned that a
We
long
just get a
time ago.
title,
That's all.
Sorry.
Or we could do real property. It didn't look like it was too much.
And then just.
Okay, transportation plan?
Done.
Can we talk about it?
Yep.
So I emailed everybody, but we have a current transportation plan that I think was published in 2017, that is extremely outdated at this point. So we need to have a plan on file with DOT. The chairman appointed a committee, I think it was like over a year ago now, right? So we met over the course of a year. The transportation committee met, plus several other stakeholders with department heads, as well as people like people from Healthcare Consortium. We had 3 public hearings to get input. And so the sort of general parts of the plan is that there's a bunch of demographic data about the county and how the demographics have changed over the past 5 or 10 years. There's a pretty comprehensive analysis of both our public transportation, but it also includes things like the dial-a-ride that Healthcare Consortium runs. So it has both public transit and other transit. So it sort of just inventories what exists. And then the last part is a key recommendations that we have for moving forward. In general, the recommendations are somewhat thematic as opposed to specific. So it might be things like, let's explore advertising more, or let's explore improving services, but it doesn't have hyper specific examples, with the idea that we'll figure those things out as we move along.
You had fairly good attendance at the last public hearing, or the first public hearing. I couldn't stay for that. Were there any dramatic changes that were made to the plan as a result of the public hearing?
No, I think there were a few things that I did change, just to I think people pointed out specific things, and so just making sure that they were mentioned.
Mhm.
But for the most part, the input was generally
Positive for the
Yeah.
most part, you know.
Yes.
People seem to appreciate the service, but maybe wanted more, expanding or different types of services and things like that. And we did, include some of those wordings, I think,
I got a question. So does this include the transportation for all the county or just the bus services and stuff like that?
everything. So it has Office of the Aging, Veterans, DSS, Healthcare Consortium.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so, Healthcare Consortium and DSS, the letter process was sort of like asking all of the providers outside of public transit for their services. So I think there's probably like 15 different agencies. Some of them are county agencies, like Office of the Aging, and some of them are nonprofits. And so it sort of inventoried the kind of services they offer, sort of like the bulk of it, like how many, and then also included like the number of staff and the number of vehicles that they have.
So
I think we even indicated too, how many people are relying on private transportation, whether you think your mother or, I mean, there is stats on that in there too, because that's part of it,
So are we well covered,
Sure.
would you say, in your study?
no.
I guess I would say that we have a lot of stuff happening.
Okay.
I think it was like 40,000 rides outside of public transit and then like 30,000 rides in public transit. So the bulk of it's a lot of rides. And in every category, there was like desire and need for more. So I think almost all the agencies indicated that if they had more funds, they would hire more staff and purchase more vehicles. And certainly from the public transit side too, is that we certainly heard the public saying we would like more. So there was no indication that like we've nailed it. Everything is perfect. But and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I would say it's a little both.
And I think there are areas or regions like the northeast corner that are not covered. And we're doing exploratory research now to find out how best to do that through private rides or public rides, or how do we get people to Hudson for services? Like, because we have one of the hotels that has, 18 to 20 people and they're out there basically without services. So there are, and we also now have an aging population that doesn't want to drive after dark. So there are things
That's
like
me,
that.
yeah.
Right. So, so I think that this is an extraordinary effort. The way we've got all the information together and organized it. It's so presentable and understandable. I think it's a great baseline. And I'd like to move that we accept it.
I just want to say one thing. I echo the words of Brenda and appreciate all the hard work the chairman has done on this particular committee, putting all the concerns of people together and bringing the plan up to date. So I think you should stay as chairman for a long time on that committee. And appreciate it.
Permanent chair, a lifetime chair.
So the plan will be updating next year, I'm sure.
Even when you're not supervising.
Well, I appreciate it. It was a real team effort. So I was excited to be working with so many really helpful people. Both the supervisor really helpful, department heads really helpful. So it was great for me to be part of that good team. So I appreciate the support.
Okay, we have a motion, right?
I moved it.
Yep.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote, carry. Okay, thanks, Michael.
All right, thank you.
Very
So
good.
now it goes to finance, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
All right, so the county government,
County
our
attorney.
county attorney, yeah. They just need to renew their Westlaw legal research,
Yeah.
Move it.
subscription.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Boy, that was, you didn't get a word in from that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so
Wait,
that's fine.
we got one more resolution. And then we'll go to Suzette's. The renewal of this one. It's to renew the leases in various departments with repeat business systems.
Oh, okay.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now, the bad news is, I didn't say it. I just kind of hinted. Suzette, you're up.
Not bad.
Share
Just
that,
sit here.
Suzette.
If you ever
Share
just
that.
sit here and wait.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I need these to see.
So the first resolution request is, an annual one, so that we can process correction of errors if they're less than 2,500 without having to do a resolution every
Move it.
single time.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the next one is, to contract with GAR Associates LLC for valuation services pertaining to the towns of Austerlitz and Hillsdale 2026 revaluations. Last month, I came in, I think it was last month, and approved us helping those towns out. So now we're looking to get the valuation support for those.
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And the last resolution request is the one that I requested an executive session for because it's kind of contractual. I wanted to,
Okay, anybody from the
I'll
committee?
make a motion, we go into executive session, to discuss a contractual issue.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Are we done?
I told you she was coming.
Huh? No, I meant to see the last one, I wouldn't hate.
Yeah.
Yes, she did. We moved her last, but I told
You're-
State making you send out those letters to say that we may be eligible for exemptions again like we did.
The towns have to
We
do that.
did them.
Every year, the towns are required to do.
That could be every year.
The law says, you know, that it's an annual thing. However,
I thought it was.
I put it in the town's hands this year because there were, you know, some assessors that were saying, I would change the wording.
Yeah, I remember it
And
was all
some
about stuff,
assessors
right?
that said,
It takes you.
I think we should send them out every couple of years, that kind of thing. So yeah.
I know it created a lot of confusion in
Okay.
my wife's offices, but
All right.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
I thought it was something the state kind of did, or they.
So we need a motion?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank you.
That's it?
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Now I'm going to Taconic Hills.
Could have had it done in 15 minutes.
I have one more thing. They're
Oh,
doing,
that's right.
Oh.
property tax exemptions.
You are?
You didn't need it back in, right?
No.
Hey, is that?
Yeah.
Do you think we can come toward December board meeting? At the side court?
Yes, well, I was planning to come, in February, closer to, when is that in December?
13th, or no, 12th? No, it's, if you're planning on coming. it's-
I was planning on coming in February anyway, because I'll know more then, and we come right before we send the notices out to
Okay.
property owners.
That's
So
fine,
that would be a better time.
that works.
What are you doing, Rita?
I'll find out when that is.
Mine's in
When was the
2024.
last one? 60%.
Yours is 2024, his and Clarence's.
The only one low is yours.
I'll bring that up to Jim.
See ya.
Thank you for that.
So last month, we had a presentation from the Board of Elections saying that they would like to discontinue those providing school district elections. Tishri and I both got a letter, which has now will or has been forwarded to the Board of Elections from the superintendent at the New Lebanon School District asking the Board of Elections to reconsider that. They've indicated that they cannot identify equipment for rental. So I did reach out to the Chatham School District, which is the other district that serves my town. They have identified rental equipment, so I'm going to put them in touch with one another and see if we can solve the problem that way. But if not, I'd just like to have a placeholder for the fact until we have heard from the other school districts that we may have to, reconsider this in the future. It's all. This is a
To let you know, I talked to Kelly yesterday about it, and I just said, it's very important when you came and reported to us what's going on. I really think you guys gotta sit down and have a calendar in January
Right.
to present to the board, say, this is what's coming up this year. This is when it has to be set up to go. This is when we gotta make a decision on something. So at least
Okay.
we know,
We have
right?
our marching orders.
Well, I'm just saying, wouldn't that be the simplest part?
Yeah.
And then everybody knows what's going on. You don't come in, I told her, I said, you come in the last minute, it's very hard for us to react to
Right.
anything. We gotta know in advance.
The only way they can drop is if they have a backup plan.
Right.
They can't just drop and leave them hanging.
Right. So I said, yeah,
So I think
Yeah.
I've made a note of that and we'll do that.
okay. I would just ask them, because it'll make our lives easier, I think, all the way
I think
around.
it'll make their lives easier too.
Yeah. Hey, you're part of this. Anything else from the board? Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'm gonna call the Public Works meeting to order for November. We're gonna start with solid waste, but before we get into that, I do want to say that we've been told by Jolene that this is gonna be her last committee meeting in how many years, Jolene? 30?
Almost 34.
Almost 34, huh? So it's a few committee meetings. She's gone through more supervisors than most of us.
That doesn't sound.
But I did. Yeah, I was gonna say, she has taught us a lot about solid waste though, so we certainly appreciate all that Jolene has done. But I do have to say that she did say that if I won re-election, she would stay for another year, so, now she's gonna stay, so.
Well, thanks to everyone on the committee and the Board of Supervisors. Like you said, I've worked for a lot of bosses over the years, and it's been an extreme pleasure. I've been very fortunate. They always say that you're not a good boss without having great employees, and I've always been blessed to have the best. So, thank you. I really appreciate it. And with that, we're going to do Wendy's agenda. So this is her payback for me doing it to her last year, or last month. So projects that we're working at, the construction, the new office building is in production. The site is currently being prepped for delivery. We still don't, I don't think, have a date.
I don't have a date yet.
Okay. Station attendants' offices are still undergoing their makeovers. Each office had new floors, interior walls installed, in addition to new cabinets and some furniture. The garbage tags, just a reminder that the garbage tags will no longer be valid after December 31st. Although it appears most of the residents have switched over. If not, they need to use up those
And away on
tags.
my color printer tonight, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Mhm. The Household Hazardous Waste event was held on October 29th. The collection event served 336 households throughout the county. The total cost was $33,575. There was a breakdown of 14 boxes of latex paint, 24 boxes of oil-based paint was collected in addition to the regular household hazardous waste. The spring and fall collection events for 2023 will be included for the grant reimbursement program. The total for both events was $78,000, a little over $78,000. Food scrap program, we delivered the soil amendment to the Chatham Station for the residents, and it was positively received. A new batch was sent out. Was just put out at the Greenport Station. 480 pounds of amendment was taken out of the machine on Tuesday the 31st. With the change in seasons, we're looking at less vegetable food scrap and more meat and bone scrap, but we are not seeing a decrease in the overall weight that's being collected. So we're still averaging between 600 and 750 pounds of food scrap a week. We do have a new hire in the office. Shannon O'Connell has started, and she has been a real asset to our department. There are a few other additions since when we submitted this. Just a reminder that the recycling permits are going to be distributed. A letter is going out to all the clerks on November 20th. Permits will be going out the week of December 11th for distribution on the 18th. Okay. We did have a DEC inspection at both the Greenport and Livingston stations this week. Both passed with no violations. Actually, the DEC rep was very impressed with the work that we did at both stations.
Good.
You said Greenport and what was it?
Livingston. And a reminder that our Greenport station will be open the Friday after Thanksgiving. And the pickup in Greenport for the garbage or for the recycling will be taking place that day also. So that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Food scrap. Right now, it's just for the public.
It's for the public.
Do you think you'll ever get to the point where you take commercial?
I do believe that is the intent
Down the
moving
road?
forward. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we wanted to get a full year in as a pilot program. I know that Wendy has been working with the county facilities, bringing their material in. So hopefully by next April, they'll have a really good handle on it.
Trying to do the jail and things like that, you know.
We'll be working at full capacity and by then have a better idea of what we can handle, how we're going to handle it, and what the fee structure will be moving forward.
Okay.
Julie, the stickers are, the letter's going out on the 20th, the stickers on the 11th, and they can be distributed on the 18th.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I apologize for missing your finale.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can have cake.
But there's cake. There's cake.
There is cake.
We did say there's cake and,
Okay, well, I guess that's it.
no hard questions for Jolene. I mean, you know.
Thank you.
Well, we certainly appreciate all the work you've done for the county, Jolene, and, we certainly hope you enjoy your retirement. You know? My mom always says, never retire from anything, retire to something. So I'm sure that you have plans.
I do.
But it's not coming to committee meetings.
No, it's not. No more committee meetings. They're done.
No.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
We thank you very much. Next we have highway.
Sorry, Tony, I had to put Jolene first because she's retired.
know.
I know, you know.
Even though you got your agenda in first. Yeah. He's always like a week ahead of time.
Now you know when. Yeah, submit tomorrow.
Right.
Sometimes it backfires.
Ray does 11:59 on Friday, you know, so you already got that one covered.
I never try and call them on the Friday before.
No, right.
We've started erecting our snow fence, for the upcoming season. We've been hauling, stockpiling sand and some salt. All snow and ice equipment been getting assembled, and the usual patching of shoulders and ditch cleaning. We've completed, all the mowing for the year, the roadways, landfills, and the airport. And all of the major, 2023 road projects have been wrapped up. We completed 13 miles of paving on 5 county roads. It's County Routes 19, 2, 7, 5, and 7D. 23 miles of shoulder reconstruction on 4 county roads, County Routes 7, 19, 2, and 5. And 4 miles of cold in place recycling, County Route 7 down in Ankrum, Gallatin. And 2.6 miles of hot in place reclamation, County Route 5 up in Canaan. And 1,356 feet of new guide rail on County Route 9. That was the last few sections of guide rail to complete that project up there. And we did 7,450 feet of a guide rail reset down on County Route 11. That's a Beauty Award Highway. All of that was low from years of paving to the point where it was low, it was below spec. So brought a contractor in and we reset all that rail. And 3.2 miles of chip sealing on County Route 28 up in town of Kinderhook, and 15 lane miles of crack filling on County Routes 9, 21, and 7.
Good year.
Yeah, so we got a lot done this year. It was a very, very good year. Weather cooperated with us, so. Personnel, we hired 4, as of today, 5. We had another one today, of the 6 seasonal laborers.
Awesome.
Yep, 1 highway
Hadn't even
equipment.
snowed yet either.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Yeah, we actually have them help with snow fence this year, which is nice.
Good.
We hired 1 highway equipment maintenance mechanic who's working out great so far. That wasn't sarcastic. He's actually working out great.
And he's still there too.
He's still there. He's still there. Yep.
Don't say anything.
Don't say that.
We hired 1 auto mechanic, who's back on our grease rack. He's actually, the guy that was on our grease rack before the last guy, so he slid right back into that position. And we have 1 senior MEO and 1 welder out on workers' comp. I do have some new business. I spoke with Ron earlier today or yesterday. We have two different times that we work. We have our summer hours and our winter hours. Our summer hours are 6:30 to 3, and our winter hours are always 7:30 to 4. At the request of the union and labor management, at a labor management meeting, they had requested that we change our winter hours to the same hours as solid waste works, which is 7 to 3:30, which we did. Obviously, you guys are finding out about it tonight, but I know some people were unaware that we even had summer and winter hours. So I just wanted to bring it to the board, just to, to the committee, just to make sure you're aware of it. That extra half hour in the morning, believe it or not, makes a big difference when roads are setting up. That's usually that time frame when things start to go south. So, but just so you're aware.
You're not paying overtime and,
Right.
yeah.
Yep. So, and then they want to, evaluate as we get towards the end of the winter, if they want to just stay to those hours year round or go back to our summer hours.
Also wanted you to share with the news on the trucks too, that you shared with me the other day. I know you had reported to the
Absolutely.
committee a while ago how many of our trucks were in for repair. But
Yeah, I think last time we met, we had 15 or 16 trucks that were down. We are now, we're down to 6. All of our garages all have their full complement of trucks as of today. The 6 that are down were the spares. One of those, is
probably a long-term fix. It's our oldest truck, one of our oldest trucks. But it's a truck that we have the roll off on where we can switch from the water tank in the summer to a gondola stander in the winter. The truck is a great running truck. We spent money years ago to put that roll off system on. Now the cab is rotted out. We have been trying to find, someplace where we can purchase a cab for that truck. So far, all we found is stuff out like Ohio, and nobody delivers, so we're gonna, as we get into next year, we're gonna see what we wanna do with that. Also gonna look into the option of maybe taking that roll off and putting it on a truck, or at some point, maybe just purchasing a cabin chassis for it, used or new. With the price of cabs and chassis, we were kind of hoping we could find a cab for it. It's pre-emissions, pre all that stuff. So
What year's truck?
It's 2001, Chris?
It's like 22 years old, something like that.
Yeah, it took 01,
It was one
03
of our
maybe.
original state trucks that was on 98.
So there are a lot of computers can switch a cab over.
Yeah,
It's hard to-
and this truck, I said, it's got no def, none of that stuff on it. Great running truck. And it runs all summer long because of the water tank. So. And yeah, so like I said, all of our outposts are all set at the moment. They all have their trucks. A couple of those trucks that are still down, we're pretty close to being done. The truck that we put the body on last month, it's just about done getting its lights and everything put in it. Spent some time up at the body shop for the cab, and so that should be on the road by this week. And a couple of them today, we're ready to be coming out of the shop. So we're getting closer. Hopefully they stay that way.
I'd be happy if we didn't use them until January, it'd be.
Yeah, as I said earlier, if we can keep them parked, we're good.
Yeah.
So,
Tony, question for you.
yes.
Your sources of road sand, I know are drying up. I know Stickles is out. I
Yeah.
don't know about Bobby Shapiro anymore.
Yep.
Do you feel there's enough out there for now that's gonna be able to
Well,
support the county and everything else?
Yeah, this year we actually got, I think we have three places or four.
Yeah, Alvarez is back.
Alvarez is back.
Alvarez,
Yeah. Kyle Russo's bid on it again, and,
Red Wing.
Red Wing bid on it again.
And I think the thing back from last year, way up the line that we
Yeah.
talked about from.
Is Red Wing gonna close? I heard they're closing the one bank down there. Are they moving to the new bank?
That I don't
We
know.
heard that just the other day.
That, yeah.
They're on their last leg down there at the one
Yeah.
bank.
I know last year they did bid, but they didn't have a current, mining permit.
Oh,
So we had the way our bids read, we had to reject
gotcha.
it.
Gotcha.
But this year they had what they needed. And
So basically,
last
down about
year-
3 sources right now that's
Yeah.
part of the produce. what they
Yeah,
got.
and last year we only had one. So we were running from up in Rensselaer County.
Gotcha.
He actually did again too, so in emergency, it dries up around here, we can always go back up there.
Yeah.
Is that Polaro? Yeah.
Valero, yes.
He had really good sand, it's just.
Yeah.
It's a
So
long
what we ended up
distance.
doing was stockpiling from there and get it, because it's about halfway. And left it there and the outpost kind of hauled that again.
Yeah, we hauled it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So just wondering, I know they're drying up for,
Yeah.
they're not letting
Yep.
new ones, that's
Yeah,
for
we're
sure. So.
certainly not getting 6, 7, 8
Yeah.
bids like we normally do, No.
Okay, that's all I have.
No other questions from Tony? All right, we will move on to facilities.
Thank you.
Jolene, I had to do the math while I was sitting here, but this is, according to this, it looks like you've done about 374, committee meetings.
More than that, because I was explaining earlier, back in the day, solid waste was their own committee,
Right?
and we had a recycling committee.
Okay, so you had 2 months,
Wow.
and that doesn't mean special board meetings or finance meetings or budgets, nothing else.
So he wants to double up for Wendy for a while?
All right, let's see here. 325, had to move some bosses around again. Had to put a push button electric strike in the telehealth room on the 3rd floor. Had to add like a dog waste receptacle and signs for the employee. 401 mounted a TV in the conference room behind Kelly there in the chamber or 2nd floor. Plus we had to, take a bunch of boxes to the basement for Board of Election. So we have a whole stockpile down there, so we're just waiting for the day to get rid of them and, like I said, take care of them there, but they're really running out of room down there, we'll say. We striped the rear parking lot at MIS, had the generator service at 610. And at the jail, we had to repair the wash bay pressure washer. Up at solid waste, we put all the stubs in for the new building, for the piping and the electric. Replaced a couple heaters and some of the outposts, and I think we have 2 stations left, Jolene, to finish. I think upgrading all the interior. So hopefully we can wrap it. We should be able to wrap it up this year. Let's see here. For the sewer line, we had the struts on the covers keep busting. They're not putting them down right, so I had to replace a bunch of them. And all the generators are fixed and up and running for the sewer district now. So we're in good shape there. And then, like I said, we had to do 6 days machine delivery for Board of Elections. So that's pretty much been going. I got a resolution here too. Authorization to accept maintenance agreement with Fire Security and Sound to test and inspect the fire alarm at 325.
Move it.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor?
And then as the other ones come up, I'll have more per building. So they're like each building gets a contract. So what it is basically is like 2 guys, they come and test all the equipment. So it's an all day affair. That's why the price is up there. They also clean the smoke heads and make sure it guarantees that everything's running. So, so that's why the price is really high, but we have to do it.
You gotta do your online striping, do you have them with you?
Yeah, sometimes we'll borrow highways, or we only had to do like maybe 6 or 8 of them. We have our own walk behinds. So, we
If you feel like doing shared services, I'm gonna do a parking lot staff. I know a couple guys that are giving out.
Yeah, all right.
That's what I need.
We got phone numbers for you, so.
Ridiculous.
Yep. Any other questions for Brian from facilities?
Oh, quick update DSS. They got one of the boilers in place.
Yep.
The controls aren't in it. They're working on it right now. So we have some kind of, idea of what's going on in the building. So this way, there's 2 original boilers still in place, and they just wanted to make sure everything was running, smooth before we go yanking them out. We have a little hiccup. We think we have a gas pressure issue, but, they're working on it right now as we speak. But once that happens, then, we'll be all the old will be out and just running on that one boiler. They're gonna get the new one in possibly next week. But the controls aren't in place.
Okay.
So, but, they're gonna work on something. So I have, like notifications if the boilers aren't working. That's what they're gonna start doing next week. So,
I just got a text from Mitch. He's coming into town with Jeff tomorrow and
Yeah.
gonna be at a couple of these.
yeah, I
buildings,
believe they have to do a final walkthrough on the roof, and then, he's gonna go to DSS and 560. I gotta meet with them guys. So, yeah, they're coming down. So, but things are running good over there.
Good. I'll see if I can catch up. I did want to see those boilers over there and see the job. So.
Okay. Yeah, I think 8:30 is at the roof, and I think it may take about an hour and a half maybe. So then we'll probably be hitting 560
I'm
and
supposed to go to a thing at Basilica too tomorrow morning. Let me check the times, but I'll text you. in the morning.
yeah, let me know. I'll let you know where we are or something. So.
All right. Thank you, Brian. And up next, we have Mr. Jerkowski with engineering. This is a big thick document here. I don't know.
This is actually
That's the calendar.
Okay, that's the calendar? Okay.
No, I added somebody else's attachments to raise.
Oh, okay.
It's not all resolutions, no, but we just have the terminal building upgrades.
Behind that, look it over in the back. I think I have Adam's tourism stuff.
Oh, is that what you did?
I don't know.
Oh,
Whatever.
You forget it?
yeah, cost proposal. Yeah, see,
Yeah,
Gibby should have had that one.
That was prior meeting.
That's fine, you can do it.
Yeah, we run right from county airport into tourism. That's kind of,
Oh,
you
they're
know.
related.
There you go. Give that to Kippy. That's Kippy's part.
Starting off with the Stall Bridge as far as our bridge project. So that's Pleasant Vale Road Bridge
Yep.
down in the towns of Livingston and Claremont. So bids were opened on November 9th. There's a resolution prepared regarding the award of that bid. So competitive bidding.
Jimmy and Ray there. I should be here. You know.
Yeah, there are a total of 5 bids that were received. They range from 1.46 to 1.97. The difference between the lowest bid, which was A. Colarusso and Sons, at $1,467,748, and then the second low was only $25,000 higher than that. So again, competitive bid.
Very good bidding.
As far as that goes, and also below the original budget. I had originally anticipated a cost of 1.8 million for the construction costs, and it's coming in well underneath that. So we're in good shape. And keep in mind, this is county money funding this particular project in its entirety. So there is a resolution to move forward and award that bid. Stuyvesant Falls continuing to work with the design consultant regarding alternatives. So I want to work with them before coming to any public meetings and discussing that with the Office of Parks.
At some point, tune me into one of those meetings. I'd like to meet
Absolutely.
with the, you know, the engineering.
I wanted to flesh out some items first
Sure,
before
yeah.
I actually get together with the.
Not that I want to make it
it's-
public, but I'd like to know what they're
Yep.
doing too. So.
Yeah, and I know that it's going to be a very sensitive topic.
Yep.
Once we get to the public as far as that bridge. So I'm hoping that we should have something where January timeframe, we'll be
Okay.
able to have more fruitful discussions. Highway, County Route 18, Fish and Game Road, so that's been complete. We actually did schedule and we just conducted the final inspection with New York State DOT today. They were fine with the outcome of the work, so they'll be processing the final closeout documents as far as that's concerned. So, a successful project. Probably
Congratulations.
one of the longest ones. Now we just have to get Copac.
Yeah, right.
So,
I drove it yesterday. It was fantastic. You know, I got clocked at
I was
36.
gonna say, what'd you get?
You could really go now.
I got clocked at 36.
Okay, good for you. Yeah, I was wondering what you were gonna say that you got clocked at.
Do you know the
because,
exact time frame of that? I mean, when did we start that with Dean?
I remember when I started, that was one of the first things we talked
Well,
about.
I think it started when I started, and that was 12 years. I mean, it was on
It's
the
been Quite a
books.
long time.
I thought we, 4
I-
years ago, we were about to approve it, and then there was some issues, and it went on.
I went back into the files. There were discussions going back at least 17 to 19.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because again, they had gone for funding, it didn't get funded the first time, it finally got funded, then it got delayed, but it goes back at
Oh.
least 17, 18
Yeah.
years. Yeah.
Like I said, I've been here 12, and I think it's been talked about ever since I, could remember, but.
And I think with the document that I found said the construction cost at the time, going back that far, they had estimated, I believe, was at 1.2, and now our construction is at 6.5.
We tried to warn you.
Progress, right.
Yeah, things don't get cheaper.
Let's do it later.
911 call center, continuing to work with the architectural team and, as well as 911 as far as the final, details on finishes and so forth. So we're hoping to get, that out to bid this winter, so that way we can start construction into the spring. As Brian indicated, the SS building, so the first boiler was replaced, so we're going from 4 boilers down to 2.
Mhm.
As Brian indicated, they've installed the first one that replaced 2 of the units, making sure that they're up and operational and no issues, and troubleshooting those before they go ahead and take the second 2 out and replace those. So that is moving forward. And they've also actually, Brian had folks in to actually remove some of the trees around that building as well. So that's in preparation of the new chiller unit, but then also for the solar project. So that way it doesn't provide any shading on the roof. And it really looks a lot better around that building, but that's been cleaned up. DPW garage, the final electrical panel was delivered and installed. They're in the process of commissioning the system, and final electrical inspection is due. So we hope that it'll be placed online before the end of the month. There were a few hangups as far as that goes, but we're back on track.
At the end, like as in the end of November, you think?
Correct, yes, yeah. Yeah,
I didn't get a confirmation. Initially, I had heard that they were gonna have a final inspection on the electric tomorrow, but I did not hear a confirmation that that was actually taking place. That's one of the things that Jeff was trying to iron out, while he's down tomorrow. Out at the airport, the county was awarded, $2.4 million in grant money through the New York State DOT Aviation, Capital Grant Program. So that grant is for the renovation of the main terminal building, the replacement of the existing 1980 trailers that were used at the site. So this is the first time that that building has had a major renovation since it was installed back in the 70s. So it's been a long time coming. Total project is estimated 2.65, with $250,000 match coming from the county. I may be able to also utilize some bill money that the FAA provided to the airport. So that 250 may be able to come down a bit as well.
Great.
All right. Tony, want to get some blackjack table room there and new revenue stream for the county?
That would be nice. Yeah, I agree with that.
We went over a lot of new revenue streams that we can probably get over there. What's the time frame on that?
Well, as a matter of fact, so just yesterday, I actually got the contract from DOT much quicker than I anticipated.
Really?
So I didn't have it in time for the preparation of resolutions.
Yeah.
But that being the case, I'll bring it to committee in January. And then that way it can go to board in February and we can engage the architect at that time to start work. Okay. So I would anticipate, if all goes well with approvals, that we would start construction in 2025.
Working through engineering next year.
Correct. That's correct.
Speaking of approval, did you get anything from the Rossman Bridge from DOT and that?
No, I still have not gotten any paperwork for the Rossman. As you see, I do have a resolution for the County Route 13 culvert, which was under the Bridge New York culvert program, but nothing on
Not for the
Rossman
bridge
yet. And so we do also have a meeting scheduled with the owner of Meadow Greens regarding the interest of acquiring unused airport land. Originally that was scheduled for Monday. They postponed that to this Friday. So, and the FAA contacted me because they are willing to fund that. They actually checked on us, making sure that we were still progressing. And I indicated that we are having a meeting. We hope that it will be fruitful. We understand that the county's been down this road with the owner in the past, so we can't guarantee anything, but they have indicated that they are willing to fund that project.
Not the land swap that was mentioned.
No, but they would fund any type of acquisition cost associated with the easement itself. We have not, therein lies the issue. We don't have any details regarding this land swap.
Yeah, hearsay.
Yeah. He's indicated that he's interested in the 83 acres of land, but he has not truly indicated exactly what he's willing to swap for that.
What 83 acres did we get?
Well, that's what soil and water building. So USDA conducted an inspection on October 19th. As a matter of fact, I received an email at 4:22 this afternoon, indicating that the property meets the minimum space requirements, and they determined that it meets their needs moving forward, and that they'll be contacting us regarding the request for a lease proposal in the upcoming month. So that continues to move forward as well. They have not outlined anything as far as what proposed improvements would be required at this point, but usually in that request,
what they've got is acceptable.
Or can be brought up
to
meet their needs.
So we did this all 10 years ago.
Yeah, they've been
How
occupied.
much space we put a false wall in there, someone make it small.
Well, yeah.
So I have 3 resolutions. First resolution is awarding the contract for the Stall Bridge superstructure replacement to A. Colarusso and Sons in the amount of $1,467,748.
It's in this year's budget. I'll move it.
Yeah. Correct.
Actually, it's fund balance for you.
350 less, right?
Yeah. We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
What can we do with those savings?
Put it towards another bridge.
Something else will come up.
I'd like to put it towards another.
Ray won't have any problems.
I will.
Right. And
Second,
Jim Brigg may have grabbed it back again, once you told him, so, he's eyeing those things up.
Resolution requesting the chairman authorize, or excuse me, execute all necessary documents and agreements with New York State DOT regarding the, work associated with large culvert 78-4.636 regarding its rehabilitation and replacement, carrying County Route 13 over the unnamed tributary in the town of New York.
Move it. There's a motion in a second, all in favor? That was Bridge New York money or
That
Culver
is,
New
that
York
is,
money?
that is Culver New York money from, 2022, so that was just awarded this past week. Last resolution is the general resolution, to enter into an easement agreement with a property owner up in the town of Austerlitz on County Route 7. The property owner is, constructing or wishes to construct a walk bridge, a pedestrian walk bridge across a creek, the Punza Creek, leading out to County Route 7. And so it is located in part within our right of way, and we do not want to be responsible for any maintenance associated with that structure or anything like that. So the agreement would allow them to install the structure within our right of way, but then also the agreement would go into further detail that they would be solely responsible for the maintenance of it. The bridge itself stays no closer than 10 feet from the fog line. So again, it's off of our roadway, and we made sure that that was the case, so that way there would be no issues regarding our plowing operations or anything of that nature.
There's the liability of somebody being on the walkway bridge and.
Well, again, that would
That
all
be there.
all be within the agreement. Yeah, I'm working with the county attorney to finalize the details on that. So this resolution is authorizing the chairman to enter and execute that easement agreement with the property owner of parcel 86.-2.
Who is the owner? I mean, is it a private person or is it a?
It's a foundation, art foundation.
Yeah, it's the Art Foundation. I'm trying to remember the gentleman's
Elwood
name.
Kelly's foundation.
Thank you. Yes, correct.
Isn't there one there already or not?
There's a roadway or driveway bridge.
Yeah.
This would be simply a walkway.
I'll second.
There were motion in a second, all in favor?
And I included information in everyone's packet as far as an outline of the improvements out of the airport, just for background information if anybody's interested.
So are those sweet 1980 trailers that the pilots were lounging in?
Yeah.
Do you know the story behind those?
Yeah.
So those are Olympic trailers from the 1980 Olympics.
No kidding.
Yep. Now, I don't want to, I know this is being recorded, but we don't want to say that too loud because Shippo will come down and say that the hockey team spent their night there after their gold medal, and therefore, you know, we'll have to put a plaque up or something.
Yeah.
Can you see
Put 'em
on
in a
this
museum.
picture?
If you continue, there is a picture of it. Of them, excuse me. That's the main building as you approach.
Oh.
That's the trailer. That's the
Yeah.
1980s trailer there.
Like a little.
That's the pilot's
pilot's
lounge that you get to stay there.
Well,
with-
go a little further, go a little further. So keep in mind, so these
And
are.
you ought to
folks
see
that-
the inside too.
Yeah, the inside.
I still haven't set foot on that property. in
It
4
doesn't
years.
get any
I've been a
better.
supervisor.
Yeah, it doesn't look, the outside looks better than the inside. There were some photos of the inside, I thought. Were pretty scary.
Is that one?
That's one of them, yeah, yeah. That's it there.
Wow.
That's the FBO. That's the main building. That doesn't look bad. Oh,
Upside down, what's the one?
over on the other, yeah. Bottom right.
Bottom right? Oh,
Yeah, those are all the main, what's known as these. Oh, that's the other end. Oh, I thought that there were some
Yeah, there was a
additional
picture, there
photos.
was a picture. I
Yeah,
thought,
yeah.
Did I miss it? I must have missed it.
Yeah, they were pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been a long time coming, so that was. And actually, the timing was very good as well, because one of the things Jim Berg and I would like to do in the upcoming year is update the lease with Richmore as well, because the lease is 2 years expired. So we've just been extending it out, but now with this coming, with the improvements, it's a good time to.
They want for some more money.
And we can gain some more revenue out of it, I think. So.
And was everything, how was everything with that autonomous EV charging station.
Oh, there's the toilet.
There it is.
Yeah, so unfortunately, they,
There you go, yeah.
yeah, so that's the pilot's
Look at
lounge.
the floor.
Yeah, so the $1 million.
Right out of the seventies, you know?
Yeah, that's what they're going into.
Good old Columbia Town.
Not a good part of the seventies either.
So regarding, Beta has indicated that, they're still interested in moving into Columbia County with that, charging location for the aircraft. However, the cost of the service coming in is much more than they originally anticipated. So they're taking a closer look at their scheduling of construction. So they're postponing this one temporarily.
Can we just get a big cat generator up there?
You can.
Got a big solar field up there. It's plenty.
Right across the
We can
street.
tap, we can tap right off.
Right across the street.
Yeah, right there.
Right, I just wanted to rehash the Stall Bridge project for everybody, if everybody didn't remember, but you know, when that bridge failed and we needed to do something at that same time, we had identified some surplus fund balance, and we decided to take some of that surplus fund balance and do a project, whether the Public Works project or something. So we were able to fund that with money. If we'd have been putting that off and tried to wait for state grant money, we'd have been a couple more years out. And probably would add another $1 million to the project. So having that fund balance, and I know sometimes we hear Ray Stats complain about having a fund balance. He doesn't like that, but yet this is benefiting his town pretty well. So you know, and Livingston, but and the county as a whole. But I think that was a good thing that we happened to be in that position with that money, and Ray was able to turn this project around. And if we get it built next year, that'll be great, you know. So,
Yeah, that's the big difference.
and we're paying for it, you
Yeah,
know,
that's
we're
the
not
big
bonding it.
difference. Yeah, that's the big difference as far as moving forward with a county-funded project versus
Yep.
DOT funded. You
You
know,
can
yes,
make it happen.
all of the money is coming out of our pockets as far as the county, but we can turn it around in a timely manner.
Right.
Usually it's 12 months to 18 months that we can turn something around versus a state-funded project. Again, you look at Fishing Game where it took
Yep.
17 years. But even the bridge projects, I mean, we're trying to get Valley View done out in the town of Copake, and that was originally awarded back in 2019.
Right.
So it's still taking, 4 years. And actually it'll be 5 years by the time we get into construction.
Right.
So, in any event, yeah, it's definitely good to have that type of, fund balance available to take on these unforeseen projects.
Great.
Any update on 11 Warren? You weren't at the last full board meeting, were you?
I did not have the pleasure.
No. But any update there?
I spoke with Rob Fitzsimmons today. My understanding is that they're trying to target a closing before the end of the year. Other than that,
Is there any progress? Do you know, is there any progress?
Clubhouse has found a
Yes.
location.
What?
Clubhouse has found a location.
Oh, that's what I was.
It's all taken care of. The
After that.
their Galvin is supplying space at State and Fit. They're gonna build a suit. Construction will take 3 weeks. They're gonna pack up next week and be in by January 1st is the target. It looks like everything is going the way it's supposed to go.
They announced it at Health. and
Yeah, the head
Human
of
Services.
mental health came yesterday to help Human Services and spoke
Who
to us.
did that?
Or who's helped that?
It was Bob Gibson, Michael Tremides, myself, and Rick Scalera. Rick Scalera obviously was the link to Galvin.
Galvin, yeah.
We kept putting pressure on the MHCG board and then pushed it through on that side.
Okay, good.
It's done.
Anything else for Ray?
So back to the closing date, then the closing date is when? The end.
targeting for end of the year. I have not heard of a final or a formal date, but I know that they're targeting this December time.
Good. Okay.
And I have all contracts with the architect, so they're all ready to be signed. I just wanted to wait for the closing date to occur before they actually get signed.
Right.
by the chairman. But everything is in order, we're just waiting for the closing.
Then we can start thinking about what to do with it. Before we adjourn, I also want to announce that, we've said Jolene is retiring, but this is also Jeannie and Chris's last Public Works meeting. So I want to thank you both for your service to this committee. Been very enjoyable to have you, and Sorry that you didn't decide to run again, but I can understand that, though, you know. All right, if there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.